This program was made possible by a generous grant from Rex and Ruth Maughan.
Will we always have the poor amongst us? I think the answer to that is yes. All of our Father in Heaven's children are entitled to the necessities that sustain life. They're entitled to an adequate diet. They're entitled to protection from the elements. The charge is to help people find that level of self-reliance that brings the happiness and the joy and the experiential kinds of opportunities that they need.
People have a hard time believing in themselves, believing that they can actually do things for themselves. And that is not true. These people are really smart. These people really know how to do things. They really know how to work hard. So the part that they need to change is to say, I can do it by myself.
Stream water is not good to drink. If we are to drink the stream water, we have to clean it before we drink by cooking it.
In Ghana, like many places, there's water everywhere and not a drop to drink. And you can punch a hole most anywhere and there'll be water. They dig these little hand-dug wells, they got creeks, there's water, but the problem is it's not clean water. And so the purpose of the Water Initiative is to improve health by providing sustainable, clean water products.
Elder Steve Thompson and Sister Sharon Thompson from Atlanta, Georgia, serve as humanitarian missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
I guess a lot of people are afraid to come here, and so that they turn down a call to Africa.
Hey Sharon, we got to move. How are we going to move all these things out of the way so we can put the chairs in and just put them?
When we applied for our mission call, we didn't ask for any specific type of a mission. We just said, leave it up to the Lord's hands, and you all, you make that decision. And so we got this humanitarian call, and we were excited about it. My wife had, a lot more experience doing her work over in India, and I had served as a regional welfare specialist or agent in Atlanta area.
As humanitarian missionaries, they oversee water projects and the church's wheelchair initiative in Ghana.
On the clean water, we're doing 13 different communities are getting new wells. And so in that process, while the hydrogeologist is doing his work and determining where those things are, we're the contractors. We have two separate contractors, and they're going and doing 27 and 28 different boreholes to refurbish. And so they have been allotted certain geographical locations and to do the refurbishing or rehabilitation of the boreholes themselves.
Of all the things that can be done in the developing parts of the world, water is probably the most important. The mechanical part of water welling is standard engineering kinds of things. The big challenge with water, like all development, is behavior. It has to do with people, and it has to do with how people behave, how they take care of what they get, for example, with regard to water.
If you just roll in and do a water project for a village or a community, and you don't have a organization established, trained, and ready to take care of it, that thing will last maybe 3 or 4 months, and it'll be broken, and they'll go back to walking 2 miles to the creek or wherever they got their water before.
Sustainability is always the biggest challenge. It's easy to find people who need help, who would like help, who have aspirations to have more and need some help to get there. But to be able to help someone and then leave and have them sustain it is what I perceive in water projects is the most difficult thing.
We're working with individuals trying to help them become self-reliant, and there is a tendency sometimes that they can become dependent on the very help that you're trying to provide.
Let's go to the duties of each of the members of the Watson communities. We'll start with the chairman.
Sustainability and self-reliance are two of the biggest challenges the church faces as it attempts to administer aid. With the Water Initiative, one solution has been to require the villages that request wells to form water and sanitation committees, or as they're more commonly known, WATSAN committees.
I'm the chairperson of the Water and Sanitation Development Board, Abumus.
My name is Daniel Mensah Akpo. Daniel Mensah Akpo.
Where are you from?
Kwadum.
My name is Joseph Na. Came from Ekosu Wepeti.
My name is Edward Kwao. I'm from Old Ningo in the Greater Accra region.
These chairpersons head up WATSAN committees in their various communities. Each committee has positions with assigned duties. The church then contracts an educator who trains these committees to keep a clean water source and how to collect money for the maintenance of the pump.
We have assigned duties to the various people, the treasurer, the secretary officer, the accounts officer, the sanitation office, the hygiene and sanitation, so that they go around and do their work.
The purpose of WASA committee is to see that we get good drinking water and to drink in the community. It's very important so that we don't get sick. When it's not good, we drink bad water, we become sick.
Wonderful. Shine for the two of them. Shine for them. They have done well. Come on, Heat. Give it to them. We did what we call training people to take ownership of boreholes that we are going to give them by World Joy and LDS Charities. Put 500,000 in your account prior to refurbishing. It's really important. What we have, what you call the COM concepts, and all that it is to make sure that whatever facilities are given to the people in each communities that we work in, they're able to take good care of the facilities that we give them.
We've hired this individual who develops these communities to make sure that they are being self-reliant, that they're participating in the work, and that they have ownership of the boreholes themselves.
But we didn't talk about checking what? Is that part of his duties? Wonderful.
They will collect money from each individual or family comes in to receive water, and if the pump would go bad, then they are to use that money to repair the pump itself. So that's how they develop ownership of the boreholes.
My experience over the last 25 years is that you don't help people very much just by giving them something without anticipating something in return.
What the church asks of these communities is that they create functioning WATSAN committees that take responsibility for maintenance of the well. With limited resources, only the villages that are willing to comply are eligible for a new or refurbished well.
I think we do a disservice if we provide a particular resource and we don't offer the people an opportunity to understand what the responsibility is to have it and to maintain it.
Yeah, the more I do it, the more I learn that giving things to people doesn't help them. Helping people achieve their ideas and their desires, helping them learn and gain capacity is a lot better. It's also a lot more difficult.
As I said earlier to you, if a WATSAN doesn't function, who does it fall on? The chairman. So you ensure that your washstand is what? Functioning. I think we are getting there. There is hope for the future. I think looking at what we've just done and the results, I haven't seen all the results yet, but from the result that I've heard and I've seen, I think things are changing and people are happier and they are shining.
If we get helper in future, we shall progress. Yes, sir. I have hope. I know that God is there for us, and God will come to our aid so that He will help us to give us somebody to make us go up.
Well, this morning we are going to the little village of Tanchim. It's like 45 minutes away from Coban, and it's a nice place where people need some help, and they really wanna be part of the project down there.
El desafío que tenemos aquí en esta comunidad es como nosotros tenemos cosecha a finales de año, y cuando esa cosecha termina ya no hay trabajos hay, pero dinero ya no hay, trabajos ya no hay.
Pues la señora donde vamos tiene luz también. Vamos pues.
Around the world, the church finds partner organizations that can focus on teaching self-reliance. Romel Fratz, a native Guatemalan, received his education at Brigham Young University, but returned to his home country, where, with the church's encouragement, he began Asade International. The Church of Jesus Christ supports Asade in its mission to impart self-reliance by providing seeds and fertilizer for the first step in the program.
This partnership started from the beginning, with the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. We saw the problem, they saw the problem, and we had a meeting, all together with the area presidency, and our main focus was to help them, become self-reliant. Then the church decided that they were going to give us seeds, because they don't give us money. They just give us fertilizers and any kind of seeds that we want.
Asade's multi-step program ushers families through different phases or modules which help them progress towards greater self-reliance.
Well, the first level is the vegetable gardens. In this one, they learn how to grow the vegetables. They learn how to raise them, and they learn how to cook them, and also how to sell them. That is the bottom module, that I call it. And then we start in that level. If we see that they're making changes, when we go to the next level for health and nutrition, they have to do several changes in the health and nutrition module, I call it, and then they go to the stove installation, and last we go to the micro business level, in which they have shown us that they really want to change, because so many people want to do business, but just a few want to pay the price to go to the level. So that the agriculture level, the health and nutrition level gives an idea to us that they really want to change.
Deep in the Guatemalan jungle, one of Asade's greatest challenges is working with villagers that don't speak Spanish, but Quechua, an ancient Mayan dialect. To overcome this problem, recipients that have benefited from the program must give back to their own community. Julian, a volunteer trainer, is also a recipient.
Ellos están viendo el progreso, lo que nosotros estamos haciendo. Ellos están viendo el progreso y ellos me dicen, es excelente ese trabajo, nos gusta de hacerlo. Entonces, ¿cómo podemos entrar en su grupo? ¿Cómo podemos entrar en ese programa? Entonces vengo yo, les explico cómo ellos pueden obtener ese desarrollo, lo que nosotros hemos tenido también.
Julian, he is one of our example here in this area. He has been able to change his life. He has also done great in his vegetable garden. Now, what he's doing is teaching other people. You know, he learned by himself. Now he works as a volunteer right here in this area, and he goes and teaches other people. And he can teach that by his own testimony, saying, it has worked for me, and then he can work for you. The only thing you have to do is to be ready to make the changes in your life. And his family is doing fine. He's sending his children now to school, and he's really serious about it. He's improving his education now because he's going to school at Saturdays and things like that. And he is just, man, he's changing. And that is the beauty of this, that he's saying, I can change my life, and he has done it.
Bueno, para nosotros, para mi familia, es muy importante, porque veo el cambio con mis hijos. Ellos han cosechado lo que yo he sembrado, ellos han comido y ahora ya saben cómo comer las verduras, porque anteriormente nosotros no sabíamos cómo comer las verduras. Comíamos, pero solo muy poquito, pero ya con ese huerto que tenemos nos ha economizado mucho. Ya no hemos ido en el pueblo de comprar las verduras, sino que aquí hemos encontrado. Si queremos comer algo, venimos a nuestro huerto y con eso hemos comido.
We as an organization, we don't like to give things away that easily. They have to work hard. They have to earn it. Otherwise, we are really creating a bigger problem to them. And I don't want to be part of that. I want to be part of another idea, the way that they should think in order to change their life.
Self-reliance is at least a two-edged sword, and maybe more than that. And as we become self-reliant, we can help others become self-reliant, who in turn can help others. And so you have that magnificent opportunity to leverage what you do.
In Indonesia, the church is working with Aero International to help rebuild the fishing industry devastated by the tsunami. Aero International is a non-governmental organization set up by two LDS brothers and Eddie Bloom, who is not a member of the church.
Because we've got several boats in different phases. In the immediate aftermath of the tsunami, an incredible amount of international aid poured into this area. And a lot of it went to fisheries, and a lot of it went to specifically building boats, because the economies here were very dependent on fisheries. And so there was a rush to build boats and get fishing back, get people back, recover their livelihood of fishing. Unfortunately, in some instances, some of these boats were not built by real boat craftsmen, and the material that they used was not the right material. And so you had sub-quality boats being built.
Eddie now runs Aero, providing boats and nets for this village. And the work he does isn't just building fishing boats, but it's rebuilding a fishing industry.
2 weeks after the tsunami, a crew from Aero found me and asked if I can make boats for Aero. I said I can make boats, but I don't have the tools or materials.
Marzuki, an experienced traditional boat builder, was devastated by the tsunami, losing family and friends as well as his livelihood.
As we began the tsunami relief effort, it being the first time that the church had really done this, the initial thought is that we would try to find local people who lived in the communities that we are trying to serve and hire them.
We've been very fortunate in finding boat craftsmen who are really true master boat builders. Pak Marzuki, who is our master boat builder here at this location, was a boat builder from his early childhood days. In fact, there's some of the locals here will tell stories of Pak Marzuki constantly getting in trouble in school for not paying attention to the teacher because he was busy drawing boats from the time he was a young child in school.
With the help of the Church of Jesus Christ, Aero has updated traditional Indonesian design with modern innovations.
And so we've got boat builders who already were quality boat builders. We've put them through UNFAO, again, Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN, additional training to make them even better boat builders, to teach them some new trades, new practice from the appropriate use of materials, the wood and the fasteners, to actual some construction techniques that they now employ and now believe in. And that took some time.
I am so happy. I thank Arrow and other donors for their help. If I did not work here, I would have nowhere else for work. I hope now, working with my sons, they can make boats like me, so then they can work as boat makers too in the future.
Despite the many successes in imparting self-reliance, the needs around the world are acute. Complete sustainability seems to be an ever-elusive goal.
You know, that's been the goal of so many people and so many organizations with such good intentions for so long. And yet, statistically speaking, things aren't changing as rapidly, at least, as people would like. And it's beyond, that's the one, that keeps me going, is that this is beyond my ability to understand, and it motivates me all the more to try to learn more.
And with every uplifting moment working in humanitarian aid, there is still the harsh reality that not all can be helped, as the Thompsons experienced while delivering wheelchairs in Ghana.
We went to the leprosy hospital because there were 3 wheelchairs that needed to be delivered. As we came up the walk on our way back to our vehicles, there was a young man that was coming along the ground, and he had to, pick up one foot and move it, and then he would scoot to that foot and then pick up the other one and bring it. And he had heard that we were giving wheelchairs away, and so he came wanting to see if he could get one.
It's an overwhelming experience to feel that and to see that and to know that he's not on the original list that the Department of Social Welfare had. And you want some way to try and get a chair for him.
Oh, I cry. But I just know that we do what we can do. And the Lord has put us here to do just that, what we can do. And that He makes up the difference somehow. And so you just have to have that faith that this is as much as I can do. And the rest, I have to leave in His hands.
Certainly we need to reduce suffering. Will we always have the poor amongst us? I think the answer to that is yes. And will we always have some who probably will never be self-reliant? I think the answer is a resounding yes. And all of our Father in Heaven's children are entitled to the necessities that sustain life. They're entitled to an adequate diet. They're entitled to protection from the elements. They're entitled to have their bodies clothed. And those basic entitlements are there regardless of whether or not they have the ability to be self-sustaining.
If I'm in Kenya and the people are walking 6 kilometers to get their water every day, and the community's weak, it's fractured, it's not cohesive, but if I come in and put a well in and they misuse it, don't manage it, but for 7 months they don't have to walk 6 kilometers, did I do good? Yeah, I did. And do we do that with our program sometimes? Yes, we do. We relieve short-term burdens in hopes that somehow that'll make a difference. And in the long run, something will get better. And I'm satisfied with that.
I think that the church sends humanitarian missionaries out because we are the Lord's hands. And sometimes He sends missionaries to teach. Sometimes He sends missionaries to lift up the afflicted. And I think that we've just been really privileged and honored to be able to do that.
Somebody say that we cannot help everybody. That is true. But for some people, that will make the difference. And that is the biggest win maybe that we can accomplish for them. If they can think, I can change my life, I can improve my life, I can be better. So that is the idea.
'Cause it breaks my heart to hear you cry from hungry nights with no shelter. Oh, so take my love and don't recall just yesterday someone loved me too.
As we go forth with humanitarian service throughout the world, there are times that we help people to help themselves, but there are times that we help people who can't help themselves. And I think that that's probably where we learn the most, because then we truly sometimes have to give beyond, ourselves.